Travel and Things, in association with Rugged Wear, Real People, Real Clothing, Real Solutions, presents In Conversation With. My name is David Batsoffen, and I'm your host today. And my guests from Phefumula Country Retreat out in Magaliesberg are Jenni and Dave. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining me. Firstly, tell me a little bit about your country retreat. Why a country retreat and not a lodge or a B&B or something like that?
Okay, so when we had this idea of an early retirement plan, and we both left corporate, we tried to look and see what is the niche market in this area, and obviously there's a lot of places which are in the kind of the family market, a couple of pet friendly, but we thought we would do something a little different, and that's why we decided on a romantic getaway for couples.
All right. And how long have you had this? I'm going to TikTok, I think, between the two of you. Dave, I hope you don't mind. So let me put that question to you. How long have you had the place? And what was it when you first arrived there?
We've had the farm 17 years.
Right.
When we arrived, it was a ruin. There was nothing here.
Right.
Other than a falling down house. And we decided to start with one cottage and then gradually develop to 5.
Okay. And
also, just to add, is that I was brought up in this area. My folks had a farm in this area. And we had a house, Dave and I had a house on that farm, but that farm wasn't big enough. And so we then decided to go much bigger.
Right.
We got horses.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, driving up, firstly, I know that when we came up, there were issues with Google Maps. That's not you to blame. It became part of our experience. Has that been resolved, or is that still sort of in the mix at the moment?
It was resolved yesterday.
Oh, good. So people go back, follow the Google Maps. You'll find the sign on the side of the road. Look for the chicken farm, or smell. Just open your window. You can smell the chicken farm sometimes.
Actually, you can't. It's a very
no, you can't. This is the interesting thing. I mean, if you put manure down in your garden, if you use chicken manure, you can smell it from blocks away. But when you drive past a chicken farm, you smell absolutely nothing at all, which is quite interesting. Now, there is something that interested me on the road to the cottages. And this was a plethora of signs that bear no resemblance to either the road conditions or what you might find. Now, I'm wondering, is there a story behind these things? Because I don't know if you're aware that there is a race in America called the Barkley Marathon. And entry fee is only $1.60, but you have to bring a license plate from the country that you're coming from. Now, I don't know if you're asking your guests to bring signage as part of their deposit for when they come to your farm.
So this is really our ridiculous sense of humor. And we started off with, one sign, and then we decided that we're going to collect them, and friends find fallen down signs and bring them to us. So we've got signs, as you say, in the, completely the wrong place. So in other words, the T-junction is not where there's a T-junction at all. The overtaking sign on our very narrow road is a complete impossibility. And we did have one guest who said, I really tried to stick to a minimum of 80, but that was impossible.
I know, when I was following Dave up on during the week, I saw that sign and I thought, how the heck is anybody going to achieve 80 kilometers an hour on this road? Is beyond me. Not even rally drivers could do it.
The sign on the screen actually does have a bit of a story behind it.
Right.
It's from Italy.
Oh.
My cousin who lives in Munich brought it across.
Is that?
Yeah, it's an Italian.
An Italian pedestrian crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that where the West German sign comes from that I noticed driving? The West Berlin sign comes from?
Yeah, that came from Munich.
Yeah. Now, talk to me about the accommodation, because I've never stayed in a venue where you've got a bathroom, and we'll get to that in a moment. So this is a shower. you've got a bedroom, you've got a lounge and a kitchen, all in the same space, basically.
Yeah, so we built 2 cottages, which were quite different to the one that you stayed in,
Right.
where there is a separate bedroom, also with an open plan bathroom. But you will have noticed that, well, all of them have a separate loo and bidet, which is closed off. But we decided on this more modern cottage, which we actually did the layout and the design and the decor. And our guests really love this cottage and the other one like it. And in time, I think we'll probably change the stone and thatch ones to more of this kind of light look.
I think this is great. It really is. I mean, you don't, as far as getting around in the room, if you know, it's very simple, but it's absolutely glorious. And I was thinking, nice plan for a holiday home down at a beach somewhere. Specifically with a cement floor where nothing's going to get dirty. And of course, the fireplace between the lounge and the dining room, which is a huge win.
Yeah, so the bath also is one of those that, you know, and the shower, we did that design specifically so that you can literally 2 of you sit in the bath and look at the mountain, or in the shower and look at the mountain.
And what I didn't realize until the next day is that there is an outdoor shower as well.
Absolutely. So one of the things that people might get concerned about is whether people might be able to see them in the bath, but our staff are well trained and nobody goes near the cottages unless the guests know that the staff are coming there, and it's done by prior arrangement. Otherwise, they are completely on their own and completely private.
And there are roller blinds if you're really worried.
There are indeed. Those roller blinds are really useful, specifically when the sun comes beating through. And also what we found was that the 2 nights that we were there, it was supermoon. So come the early part of the morning, that moon beamed through there. It woke me up on the second morning. And I actually pulled the blinds down to keep the moon out, not necessarily the sun. And
that's quite cool.
And now talking, as I said, you've got a bath, there's a shower over here. And then just to add, I don't want to say insult to injury, you've got a jacuzzi outside. Now I tried it. I got in as far as my knees and I chickened out. But my wife, bless her, I use her as research for all the swimming pools and jacuzzi. She got in and she thoroughly enjoyed herself.
So the jacuzzis are heated to, I think it's 50, Dave, 50 degrees.
No, you'll boil at that.
Well, anyway, they heated, but we could have just come and altered the temperature, but with the greatest of pleasure.
It's not a problem because I didn't need that because I had this to keep me warm. I have to say that I was again surprised by my wife, who kept this fire going much longer than I'd given up. I thought we're going to, you know, the flames have died down, and she went and fiddled with the logs, and all of a sudden we had another hour and a half's worth of really, really toasty warm fire. The only mistake we made is that we didn't bring marshmallows, because then we could have had toasted marshmallows. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. So just going back to the jacuzzi, you know, that's something that's it's one of the differentiators of our place, because there's nowhere in the area that provides, you know, the jacuzzis on the patio. And then of course open fires is also another great win for winter.
It is indeed. I think fire should be compulsory. We have a fire in our house. We put in a stove, and that keeps our lounge really, really warm. The other thing that I think that maybe differentiates Magaliesberg is the fact that you have stunning sunrises and sunsets there, really and truly.
We feel that this area is a bit of an undiscovered gem, because, you know, people head off to other areas, and you know, we're literally an hour and 15 out of Johannesburg, Pretoria, and you know, the major cities. So it's really a convenient getaway for a weekend or a couple of nights without having a huge long journey attached to it.
I have to agree with you. You know, people go, oh, we're going to the Berg. meaning the Drakensberg, and they're hiving off down there, and it's taken them 5 or 6 hours to get there. We have our very own berg, as you say, an hour 15 out of Joburg, and there it is. And it's got stunning history. If you want to look it up, there were battles fought in the Magaliesberg, all sorts of wonderful things. Yet they want to go down to KZN or down to the Free State so they can say they've been to the Drakensberg. Come on, people, turn the car around, head in the other direction. And there's so much to do in Magaliesberg, Jenny, aside from just going and chilling, which is what we did. There's mountain biking, there's trail running, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do within, what, 15 minutes of your place, basically.
15 to 20 or so. There's game drives and elephant experience and that sort of thing. This mountain, of which we are fortunate enough to own a kilometer right to the top and over, is the 3rd oldest mountain range in the world. So mostly at our place, people just, they hike up the mountain. We've had so many engagements up there, being, the 3rd oldest mountain range in the world. People can just amble up from their cottage. And then, of course, the other thing, as you said, is just chilling.
Yeah.
But like you've just noted, there are many, many activities in the area.
Yeah, I just said to my wife, we're going nowhere. We stay in here, we can read, we can eat, we can look at the mountain. I'm not walking up it at all.
The bird life is also prolific.
The bird, I heard it from early in the morning. It was stunning. It really was. How many species do you have on the property, Dave?
We've got, so far we've documented over 200.
Wow, okay. So
we've got a friend who does this sort of thing. He's a butcher. The other nice thing about the area is we're surrounded by 4 craft breweries.
Oh, yes, of course, indeed. I've forgotten about that. But I don't know so much about, I would suggest that the people go out, get the beer, and then come back, because tackling that 3.8 kilometers from the Sun to the cottage, with after you've been to 4 craft breweries, is going to be a little difficult.
Yes, well, on that issue of the road, now that the rains have finally stopped, which when you're a farmer, you never, are disappointed by rain. However, we have started working on the road now, and it's slowly improving.
I must say, Jenny,
It's
when
a big job.
I can well imagine, when I drove up behind Dave, the road seemed to be quite hectic. But when we drove back to the main road, I said to my wife, but this is not that bad. Now that I've sort of done it once, I can handle it with ease. We could have gone back and forth, back and forth. It didn't seem as bad, but that's normally what happens. The first time you're on a road, there's one outlook because you've never driven it before. But once you've driven it, if you ignore the signs, because otherwise you're going to end up in a field somewhere, then it's very simple. And this is a great place, as you said, for special events. I was there for my 69th. I confused a heck of a lot of people by saying it was I was entering my 70th year, and everybody started saying Happy New Decade, etc., etc. No, people, I'm only 69, and this oxtail meal was delivered to our cottage by your chef, together with soup and a dessert, and it was absolutely delicious. Fall off the bone good. It really and truly was. So my only reason for showing this picture is to say, what sort of catering options do you offer your guests?
So because we're small and we can really accommodate any needs that our guests have.
Right.
So guests are able to part cater, have it fully catered, or do their own catering completely, because the cottages are fully equipped, as you will have noticed, for self-catering. But then we offer a range of about 10 starters, about 10 main courses, and about 6 desserts. And we take them over in crates, as you saw. We set the table beautifully with the white linen cloth, the candelabra, the crystal glasses, and the starter is plated that goes onto the table. The main course goes into the oven and the dessert into the fridge. And the nice thing about that is that guests then can totally relax and feed themselves at their leisure without having waiters hovering around or waiting to clear their plate.
Also in contemporary times, there's no common area like a restaurant. So people who are concerned about the virus
Crowds, yeah.
be in peace. It's a menu for two.
Yes.
Because we cook from scratch. Cooking an oxtail for one is not really practical. So it's a menu for two. You share.
I didn't want to share, I have to tell you, because oxtail's my favorite. We had a small altercation about who got what, and seeing it was my birthday, I won.
Well,
our portions are pretty generous.
No, they are indeed. They are indeed. There was enough. There was more than enough to go around. And the soup that we had as a starter, I mean, that was a proper portion of food, not these you go to fine dining restaurants where it's children's portions with sauce underneath. You know, it's not worth it.
So
we're homely food.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And actually, just on the oxtail, people have actually written on TripAdvisor about that oxtail because our oxtail is excellent and our chef is excellent. He's actually a guy that started with us as a farm worker, and he's now he helps me manage the place, and he's the chef. He's absolutely fantastic. He's grown incredibly.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then we also, was it 2 weeks ago, we got our 2022 TripAdvisor award as in the top 10 globally, Dave.
Yeah, in our category.
In our category.
Congratulations. Well done. Who are the other 9? I'm gonna have to
we'd love to know.
You know, it's now you see, you piqued my interest on this because you said that the Magaliesberg is the 3rd oldest range. What are 1 and 2?
The oldest is in Australia.
Okay.
And the 2nd oldest is Barberton.
Oh, okay.
These mountains actually started their life at the South Pole.
Wow.
And with
I thought I'd seen penguins walking past, and now I know that.
And following the Pilanesberg eruptions,
right,
the mountain rose.
Okay. Wow, that's fascinating to know. It really and truly is. For people who are watching this and going, all right, now you've told us it's in the Magaliesberg, you've told us it's only an hour, 15 minutes away from Joburg or Pretoria. How do we contact you? We want that oxtail that David had.
Okay, so our email address is info@phefumula.co.za. And the website is www.phefumula. And so it's easy to find. And people can contact us directly via the website, or they can contact us by
on your phone.
Yeah, that's my daughter phoning from London. Sorry about that.
Quite all right.
Just on the name Phefumula.
You jumped in because I was going to say it means to breathe.
Means take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. And that's exactly what I think people coming to visit you are able to do, is just to take a deep breath, look at the nature that surrounds them and relax. It's as simple as that. It's a beautiful place. I hope it goes from strength to strength. I really and truly do. And I hope I come back to celebrate your 21st with you, because that's only a few years away. I'll come and have my 70th at your place. Great. Then people will know. Yeah. Jenni, Dave, thank you so very much for joining me here on In Conversation With. I wish you all the very, very best, and we will chat again soon.
Well, we're very happy that you spent your 69th birthday, and as you say, you'll be back for your 70th. We look forward to that, and thank you very much, David. We're very grateful.
Thanks so much.